Welcome into Saints Now. I am Will Scott. We have some breaking news on this Tuesday afternoon, early evening. The New Orleans Saints have signed Chris Harris Jr. and two others to the practice squad. This is a notable move that Mickey Loomis and company have made on this Tuesday. Tom Pelissero was the first to report. The Saints have signed veteran cornerback Chris Harris Jr. to their practice squad per the wire. So that made official earlier today. They have signed Chris Harris Jr. And folks, this is why you subscribe, because when breaking Saints news goes down, we have you covered. Go down, subscribe to the channel. We also get you guys post-game videos. We're bringing you guys news and rumors videos each and every single day, interactive content, and plus, you don't want to miss anything. We're going to keep you in the loop with stuff like this. Go down, subscribe to the channel. Nick Underhill added this. Harris, 33, was one of the better cornerbacks in the league during his tenure with the Denver Broncos, which took place from 2011 to 2019. He spent the last two seasons with the Los Angeles Chargers. So here's what to know about Chris Harris. He spent the first 9 seasons of his career with the Denver Broncos, and as Underhill mentioned, he was one of the best corners in the league really during that entire tenure. I mean, he was remarkable from 2011 to 2019. The last 2 seasons he played with the Los Angeles Chargers. Was not as good as he was in Denver, but still solid. 33 years old, so he's a veteran, 4-time Pro Bowler, and made the All-Decades team for the 2010. So a remarkable career thus far for Chris Harris. Now he is a New Orleans Saint. Go down, grade the signing. Type A, B, C, D, or F down in the comment section. It is the pinned comment on today's video. Reply to it when you get a second. What do you think about the signing of Chris Harris Jr.? Here's what he did last season in LA. 37 tackles, 1 interception, 6 pass breakups, 1 QB hit. So nothing crazy in terms of numbers. He did play in 14 games and start 11 games. So this is not like, he didn't have really any role in his previous team, like some practice squad signings that we've seen. No, he did have a pretty big role with a pretty solid Chargers defense last season, started 11 games in Los Angeles in his age 32 season. Taking a look here at the updated depth chart. So until Harris is activated, and I'll talk about more about what the practice squad things means in a second, but we'll slot Harris behind Marshon Lattimore as a corner. So this is a Saints defense that needs some depth, I think, at this position. So this is the right call, I think, bringing Chris Harris Jr. to New Orleans. We talked about the possibility of them signing a corner. They have done so, and I think he's going to be on the active roster soon. This is a situation where he hasn't been with not just the Saints but any team the entire offseason. It does not make any sense to sign him to the 53-man immediately because he hasn't been with the team. This is all about ramping him up into football shape, having a veteran on the practice squad. He'll be with the practice squad maybe a week or two. Then when they feel like he is game ready, then he'll be activated. That's not going to happen before the Seahawks game on Sunday. However, I think in the near future, he's going to be on the active roster. I can just about promise you he's not going to be on the practice squad for very long. He's too good of a player. It's interesting because there was a report, actually several reports, that the Saints wanted Harris in 2019, or I should say 2020 NFL free agency before he signed with the LA Chargers. There was a lot of interest with the Saints, with Harris. However, he signed with the Chargers. Now the Saints bringing him to New Orleans. It took a long time. We've talked about him a few times on the show. He's been out there and available in NFL free agency, but now he is finally a member of the New Orleans Saints. Before we get into more about the Saints, I want to tell you about this great deal on BetUS. If you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125, you're going to get a 125% deposit bonus. That means if you put $100 in, you're going to get $125 additional cash to bet with. It's a great deal. Go and take advantage because the Saints are a 5.5-point favorite against the Seahawks. Big game for the Saints. I know I was hesitant to call the London game a must-win, but this is a must-win for the Hoodats, right? They're 1-3. They got to win this game. The total at 46. So go bet on the Saints to cover. The Seahawks really aren't that good, even though they're 2-2. Geno Smith is playing some decent ball, but he's going to be shut down by that Saints defense. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code CHAT125. Nick Underhill also reported this. Saints signed Jordan Brown and Adam Prentice to the practice squad along with Chris Harris. Released Trey Swilling from the practice squad. So Brown and Prentice, familiar names. We'll start with Prentice because he spent most of last season on the Saints practice squad. Was waived by the Saints on Saturday, but was not apart from the team for too long. Picked back up by the Saints today, the fullback. And then you have Brown, who was released by the Saints on August 22nd. Has hopped around practice squads the last 3 years. Now back with the Saints practice squad. So good to have those two back. Trey Swilling, though, has been cut. He is the son of Saints legend Pat Swilling. He's been released from the practice squad. Was recently signed by New Orleans. I remember talking about this guy, the signing of him not too long ago. He was not with the Saints practice squad for very long. He has been let go. As well as DeMarcus Fields. Fields has been waived as well. So those two have left, and then you bring in three guys on the practice squad, Prentice, Brown, and Chris Harris Jr. Obviously, Chris Harris Jr. being the most notable name there. Guys, go down and rate the Saints roster moves. Scale them 1 to 10 down in the comment section. Go down, let me know what you think. The Saints, as we all know, love to make moves all the time. We're going to have you covered here on Saints Now with all the moves. Go down, scale them 1 to 10. Going back to Chris Harris, because that's by far the most notable name that the Saints have signed here, and a name that they wanted about 2 years ago in free agency. Now you finally bring him into New Orleans, add him to this cornerback room. A good cornerback room, but one that could get a little bit better, and you've certainly done that bringing in a veteran like Harris. He's not going to start, but he could be a significant backup on this team in terms of a guy that gets some big minutes here. You got Lattimore, Roby, Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus Maye, Paulson Adebo as the DBs here. And Saints defense has been a bright spot at times. I would not say the Saints defense is the reason they are 1-3 to start the season. There's obviously a lot of blame to go around in terms of the offensive side of the ball, but Dennis Allen, being a defensive-minded coach, he was the DC when they were going after Harris as a free agent 2 years ago. It makes a lot of sense, them bringing Harris in here, and I really like this move. I would say, I didn't give my grade earlier, I would say this is an A. I mean, Harris, I still think has some juice left in the tank. A lot of people are going to say, oh, he's 33 years old, he's a little bit washed, but no, I think Harris is a really solid player and one that's going to contribute to the Saints defense. Look, the Saints are 1-3. You know, they can't be they're not satisfied with that start. I can promise you that. Very important for them to add some talent to this team, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Even more specifically at the cornerback position, they have done so, bringing in Harris. Guys, go down and subscribe to the channel. We got a big game coming up against the Seahawks on Sunday. We're going to have a preview for that game. We'll have a post-game reaction video. Go down and subscribe to the channel at youtube.com/Saints Today. That's the sub link. And hit that big red sub button to stay in the loop with all New Orleans Saints news. This has been Will Scott with Saints Now by Chat Sports.